What is going on? Welcome back to another episode of the Always Compete Seahawks podcast. My name is Sam. Thank you for joining me today. Today, I figured, well, I might not do a video at the end of the day because, I just don't think there's going to be a lot happening today for the Seahawks. Yesterday was a pretty busy day. I don't anticipate it really being much of a kind of rumor-filled day or a very busy day as far as signings go or trades. If there is anything, I will come back to you guys later today. But for now, I figured, hey, let's bang on a video now, and I figured let's discuss what the Seahawks draft now looks like after all this craziness has happened, where you lose a quarterback, you get a quarterback, you lose a receiver, you add an edge, you add a receiver, you add a couple picks that are in the top 3 rounds. What does the draft look like right now for this team? I think it's interesting to take a look. We're going to do a 3 round mock draft. I'm on mock draft database. I think that their big board is the best right now. I don't really like PFF's big board, so we're going to go with their big board and we're going to do their mock draft. And let's hop right in and let's get going here. So here we are, pick 18. Armand Membu is on the board, but here's my goal. I intend on doing this draft through the eyes of John Schneider, through the eyes of what how he wants to build this team. And because what I would do here is I would instantly take Armand Membu, and frankly, John might too. I don't think him being here is actually super realistic though. So I'm gonna restart because frankly, I don't like how that one was gonna go. I don't like the fact that a guy who I think could probably go top five was still on the board for me. And I guess he's still gonna be on the board for me again. So you know what? Forget it. Let's just roll with it. Through the eyes of John Schneider, originally I had this team, I was so ready for them to take an edge rusher. That's what I was prepping for them to do. I wasn't ready for them to like pass on an offensive lineman and take like a Michael Williams or a Mike Green or someone like that. I always thought that's what they were going to do. However, now that Demarcus Lawrence has been added as an edge rusher, I really don't think that that's going to be a role that they're going to be looking to fill. Even if an edge rusher is perhaps best available, I thought they could like a guy like Michael Williams. Did Shamar Stewart go off? Because I thought, yeah, Shamar Stewart went to the Falcons in this. I thought he could be a player that they like. So, but let's kind of go through uh, positions that I think are needs. Obviously, offensive line is the first need, but well, that goes without saying. Let's talk about quarterback. Could John take a quarterback in the first round? Obviously, kind of the guy that is next best after the top two is Jackson Dart. Um, I don't think Dart is going to be a first round pick in this range. Now, we have seen teams like quarterbacks and reach on them if they think that they fit what they want. Ultimately, I just don't think Dart has a good enough reputation around the league. I doubt he has a good enough reputation with the Seahawks for the Seahawks to willingly take him in the first round at 18. I think it would be a reach. I think if they really wanted him, they would probably trade up into the back of the first and get him. But ultimately, I don't think Dart is the type of guy who is going to be enamoring for the Seahawks enough for them to go out and say, all right, you know what, fine. Let's go get Dart right now and let's secure this. If they do like him that much, I trust John Schneider's judgment on quarterbacks. He's made good decisions with like, hey, Gino and Russ, and he really liked Josh Allen coming out. He really liked Patrick Mahomes coming out. He's made good picks with quarterbacks, so I would trust it if he really liked Jackson Dart. But at the end of the day, I just don't think he's going to go that high. Now, receiver could be another spot. We know John loves receivers. He loves drafting them, loves picking them high. DK, Tyler Lockett, Jackson Smith and Jigba, all top 3 round picks. Matthew Golden is a guy who is really all speed. His game is a little raw still. He was never really a dominant player in college, but the speed and athleticism is absolutely there. I think Luther Burden is also a guy who I think makes a lot of sense. If they do pick anyone, I think Burden would probably be the pick. But I don't know if I see them going receiver after they pivoted off of. Um, DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. I think if they really, I think that a part of that is money and a part of that is DK getting out, but I think a part of it also is Mike McDonald probably wants to build his team through the trenches, and he probably sees an expensive receiver as not helping that. So. I think he's going to pass on that. Don't see them going tight end, especially now that I guess Colson Loveland went off to Indianapolis and Tyler Warren went to the Saints. So the guys going early here. Guys going early. D line, especially nose tackle. Kenneth Grant is a guy that really feels like a Seahawks pick, especially if Mike McDonald is building the defense that he wants to build. The Ravens have used nose tackles in the past. Um, Last year, Jonathan Hankins was kind of a primary nose tackle. Byron Murphy was used as the nose tackle. I don't think they want to use him at that again. It's not really where he's strong. I can see Kenneth Grant, the clear ties to Michigan. I see that being a spot that Mike McDonald could absolutely take. He wants to build his defense up. I think it's if the idea is, hey, the offense isn't going to be great, let's build it up. Let's go out and get Kenneth Grant, who I really like. I think he's an athletic specimen. But outside of that, maybe they go Nick Emmanwori at 18. I could see that happening. I don't know if they're gonna be so privy to take a third safety. I don't think that would be something they would do. Maybe they would, but all in all, I'm gonna kind of narrow this pick down to offensive line, wide receiver, and nose tackle. More specifically, probably narrowing it down to Luther Burden, maybe a guy like Gray Zabel fits their scheme a little bit better, I think, than what Tyler Booker would do. Uh, so we'll say Gray Zabel, Armand Membu, who's still on the board, not realistic, but he's still on the board, Luther Burden, and Kenneth Grant. I'm going to go with the mindset here that Armand Membu is not going to be on the board. I think Membu is going to be a top 10 pick, if not maybe a top 5 pick. I could see Jacksonville being a spot for him. I could see the Patriots being a spot for him. I don't think he's going to be on the board by 18, even if like the Bengals, I don't think would pass on him. I don't think the Cardinals would pass on him. I don't think Miami would pass on him. I don't think Dallas or San Francisco or Chicago. I don't think any of these teams would pass on Membu if he's on the board. I really think that's how good he is. So we're going to go with the mindset that it's between Gray Zabel, Kenneth Grant, or Luther Burden. And with this pick, I think John Schneider will take Kenneth Grant. I think that's the pick that John Schneider, especially Mike McDonald, really wants to make. And I think the way Mike McDonald probably views things, he's sitting there saying, "Hey, if we can have a great defense and I can build the defense that I want to build, it's kind of what I really want to do." And now you're sitting here and you're saying, "Whoa, Donovan Jackson on the board at 50. So is Jackson Dart. You got to make a choice here. Got to make a choice. You have 50, and with the DK pick, you now have 52. Those are two picks. So if you really like these two guys, you kind of got to bank on whatever team not being likely to take him. Denver almost certainly won't take Jackson Dart. So I think that's a good reason to take Donovan Jackson. You already have your defensive line. I think this is really where receiver could play, but as you get into the third round, I still think there are viable wide receiver options. Restrepo, Tez Johnson, Jalen Royals, Isaiah Bond, Jack Besh, even down the board. I kind of like Ty Felton as an all-around weapon. He played my Yukon Huskies this year and was really impressive physically, just kind of a very dynamic player. I don't see them taking receiver here. I do think John Schneider really does feel the heat on the interior offensive line just because he missed out on Will Fries. He still offered a big bag, doesn't mean that he doesn't know that they need to improve at that spot. I think Donovan Jackson is a really great value considering he slides almost perfectly in at left guard. Played left tackle all of last year, but his size really more translates to guard. I see Donovan Jackson really being a great fit at left guard. I think John knows the need there. And I think he's kind of a day one plug and play at left guard, and a guy who got a lot of experience on a national championship team. Give me Donovan Jackson at pick 50. And the Broncos took Jackson Dart. Why would they take Jackson Dart? All right. Well, that changes things. I think Jackson Dart's the only quarterback good enough to take in the second round. Um, Even a swing in the second round on Jalen Milroe, I think would be reckless. I don't think I don't think he's anywhere close to being ready. I don't think he fits well in a system that's basically solely focused on making good reads and being accurate. That's like the two worst things that he has. I don't think Quinn Ewers fits very well either. I don't love what I saw from him. In my opinion, the two guys that kind of fit the best, I like Shug. I don't know how you say it. I've heard people say show. I've heard people say shuck. I've heard people say shuck. I don't know how you say his name, but Shuck I think he fits well. I think he played really well. He showed very well physically. I just think his age is a concern. He is 25, but we've seen teams like the Falcons, like the Broncos, take 25-year-olds. I don't think Shuck is good enough here to go at 93, although honestly, with the board, I think he would probably be my number one quarterback. Kyle McCord, I do like a little bit as well. After that, no one really interesting to me here. Yeah. So now with Jackson Dart off the board, that changes things. I think you might be looking at another interior offensive lineman. I think Jared Wilson, you could never really take Jared Wilson too early. He fits very well as a zone blocking center in this scheme, but I think they do like Olu a lot, and I don't think they're going to be rushing to take a center at 52. I could see them perhaps just taking a look at safety. I think receiver here, though, is the clear need to fill. I think you also discussed trades. We have a couple trade back offers, but neither of these are very good. The Chiefs do have a later second. If they want to get up, I'll discuss that with them. Give me that and give me a three. Okay, we'll do that. So we fall back, and the Chiefs give us a pick. I think this is kind of a better zone to take receivers. Yeah, I mean, a couple of the top guys on the board are receivers. The guy who the Seahawks have met with a lot is Jalen Noel's gone. He went to Tampa. It's a good pick for them. It's a good pick. Anyways, Jack Besh, Senior Bowl MVP, very clearly kind of fits as just an all-around very solid receiver. Isaiah Bond, his stock really tanked. He said he was going to run very fast, and he ran very kind of average. He ran like a 4.4. So I don't see most teams taking Isaiah Bond. I don't think the Seahawks will take Isaiah Bond. I could see Jack Besh. I think Besh is a good player. I think Ayamanor is a good player. Ultimately, though, at 63, I think Jack Besh is the best receiver on the board. I think he's had one of the best processes of any player. Give me Jack Besh at pick 63. Now we have a long, long wait to 82. Got a couple trade offers here. Could fall back one pick with Pittsburgh and pick up a seventh. It's probably a trade that they would do. Quinn Ewers still on the board. If Milrow was on the board here, I might consider it just because of the sheer upside. The Jets picked Milrow, actually. It's a pretty realistic, good pick. Unlike the goddamn Broncos taking Jackson Dart. Imagine. Jared Wilson did go to Jacksonville. It's a guy I would have taken here at 82. Ultimately, just doesn't fall to us. Elijah Arroyo, kind of a vertical field tight end that I like. Think he fits the scheme well. The question is, is Ewers a good swing at 82? I don't think so. I really don't. I don't like Ewers at all. And I really didn't see anything from him that ever wowed me. So I don't think that they would take him. I really don't. And I don't think anyone's really saw a lot in Ewers or sees a lot in him. I'm honestly surprised he didn't go back to college and transfer and maybe just try to have a better season. Wait, did Shuck go off the board? Wow, the Raiders. Oh my God. Okay, so we are getting screwed over. Both of the quarterbacks I wanted go before what I was expecting them to go. So I think now for quarterback, I'm gonna wait until McCord, which is probably in like the fourth or fifth round. So I don't know if I'm gonna take a quarterback in this mock. I just really don't like Quinn Ewers. I don't like Will Howard. Gabriel maybe, but he's very small. The size is a serious concern for me. Um, I think we just take who we like the most. Shamar Turner's a guy that gets in the backfield a lot. Braden Swinson is a good player. Uh, hmm. I like Elijah Arroyo here. Falling a little bit, very athletic, had a good Senior Bowl, made some good contested catches in that game. I think Arroyo is a type of player who fits well in a scheme that is very reliant on having tight ends be able to run routes and get out in the open field and make some plays. I think Arroyo also at 82 is pretty great value. So we'll take another offensive weapon here. No offense on a contract here. Makes a lot of sense to take a receiving threat in Elijah Arroyo to pair with kind of a more blocking tight end in AJ Barner. This is a great trade. Fall back 8 spots and get that many picks is actually a great trade, especially when you're talking in the late third round. I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to do that. And I'll sit on these. So we have 95 and 100. Got to think just at this point what's likely. I think Shamar Turner's a guy who flashed a lot. Once again, though, I just don't see them loading up on offensive line that much. I think they did meet with Makuba at the combine, so that's a name to watch here. We know that uh, Mike McDonald likes to work with safeties, have them come down, have them hit a little bit. Quarterback. Do you take a big reach on McCord? I don't think you do. I really don't. I would have taken Shah here. I would have taken. I don't know if I would have taken yours here. I don't know if I would take yours at all, frankly, unless it's like in the seventh round. If yours falls to the sixth or seventh, I would take him. But after that, I just don't see any reason to take yours. Not even as like a third round pick 100 flyer. I don't see the reason at all there. Man, this is tough. This is tough for me. I don't think you reach on McCord, who's the one guy I like on the board right now at quarterback. So we'll pass. We'll pass for now. I don't think you go D line. You already got Kenneth Grant. You signed DeMarcus Lawrence. I think as far as like run defense goes, you have your unit. I think you're very deep there. You managed to re-sign Darren Reed. You're banking on Byron Murphy improving. I don't think that's a position you really need to address anymore. I'll take Andrew Makuba at safety, 95 overall. Both pretty good trades here. And in a situation where there are not a lot of players on the board that I really like. Like I said, I like Ty Felton, but you already kind of got two offensive weapons. I don't think you need a third in the first round. We could double up. Seth McLaughlin's a good center, and he has the clear relationship with Donovan Jackson. Is it that simple? Do we just go for it? I think it is. We'll take a slight reach on a center who I've heard good things about. Has a relationship with Donovan Jackson, your second round pick. We're going to go Seth McLaughlin here at pick 100 to finalize our 3 round mock draft. So let's recap. We do make a little bit of a trade. Uh, at one point, we trade back. We add some picks. Kenneth Grant at 18. Once again, this is kind of a situation where I was thinking, hey, what would the Seahawks maybe do IRL? I think Kenneth Grant makes a lot of sense um, to really complete this defensive line. I think Mike McDonald really has not filled the defensive nose tackle need. I don't know if they will in free agency, but a lot of the nose tackles that I thought they could go after are already off the board. So I don't really see Kenneth Grant being added there. Or I don't really see another one being added that would make meaningful impact. I think Kenneth Grant, with the Michigan connection, with his just sheer athleticism, I think would be a very interesting pick, and I think would be a pick that could really unlock this defensive line, especially unlock Byron Murphy and let him play kind of a more three tech role, which is really what he's destined to play. Um, Donovan Jackson at 50 is tremendous value. I don't know if he'll actually fall there, but as a left guard who can pretty much play day one, I'm confident in saying that. I think Donovan Jackson is a terrific fit at pick 50. Trading back and being able to get Jack Besh at 63 is also great value. Besh had a very just impressive process, especially at the Senior Bowl, showed a lot, great hands, just a guy that I really like who could come in and play day one at wide receiver. Elijah Arroyo, a vertical stretching tight end, can kind of play all over. the field. Tight ends have a tremendous importance to Clint Kubiak and kind of this West Coast Shanahan offense. Makuba, we know Mike McDonald likes to run three safeties, kind of have one step up, play close. Makuba kind of fits that role. Also, you're in a situation where you're talking about Kobe Bryant going into a contract year. Maybe you see Makuba as a guy who could fill that role next year. And we a little bit of a reach on Seth McLaughlin, a center who has a connection to a guy you picked earlier, Donovan Jackson, and kind of just add some more competition to that room, bring in a national championship pedigree. Also, McLaughlin apparently is really being touted as a great leader on that offensive line, being touted as a great member of that offensive line, and just a guy who was very smart, very intelligent, and a overall good teammate, which I really think would help with Donovan Jackson and would help with this offensive line that doesn't really have a clear leader at this point. I think bringing in McLaughlin could make him the leader if he decides to step into that role. So that is going to be my post craziness mock draft. We added a couple big time names. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out IRL and what John Schneider feels is the biggest need. Maybe he feels like you can reach on a quarterback in the first round. Maybe he feels like offensive line is a dire need, or maybe he thinks, hey, let's just go get the player that would best fit what our team is. And maybe that is Kenneth Grant. So we'll see how this all plays out. We're going to have a lot more mock drafts, a lot more draft buzz in the coming days, weeks, and ultimately kind of the next month as we head towards the draft. But I want to thank you guys for watching. Give me your thoughts in the comments below on this mock and any players that you really like that I did not mention. In the meantime, I will see you guys next time. Hope you guys enjoy your day. Peace out.